people are accepted into the school, we must be able to allow space for us to tolerate all those groups within the school space. So we are saying that there's a constitutional and legal imperative that guides all of us, that as public schools and private schools at the pre-tertiary level, that is KG, primary, junior high, senior high school, people are talking about Wesley Girls, Tema Secondary School. We are looking beyond that.
Right.
If there are schools that are also Islamic schools, that also have similar issues, let's treat these issues straight as it is. Because as far as my child gets into a school, the school is supposed to, first of all, train the child to be disciplined, train the child to become academically far better than how we brought him into the school, make sure that the child does not become a social misfit. So if you go to a school and that school was established by probably a church or a faith-based organization, and they have their culture in that school, the things that you can follow within that culture, you have to follow. But it should not deny you access to practice your faith. This is what we are speaking about. So we are saying that we believe that such schools which are largely founded and patronized by the government and parents cannot privilege one religion over others, hence must provide egalitarian leadership. Anybody who practices egalitarian leadership understands that there is diversity in opinion, but at the end of the day, let's tolerate and make sure that we can live in peace and we can create a conducive environment for teaching and learning to foster. We sit in this room, look at the shirt he wears, look at what I wear, look at what we wear. It shows the different opinion, but there are rules of engagement. You are in charge within a policy that does not affect the general architecture of how we regulate this space here. So we are saying that we should look at it from that perspective. We are also saying that when you suppress the practice of a minority faith, it can only be done under one condition. When you read Article 14(1)(e) of the 1992 Constitution, it says that exceptions are granted for the purpose of educational or welfare of a person who has not attained the age of 18 years.
Right.
And even that one, it goes further. If you go back and you look at the spirit and letter of that discussion, it speaks to the fact that said limitations must be applied narrowly, reasonably, and in a genuine interest of the child's welfare, and not as a justification of doctrinal or religious preferences. So whether it is a school founded by a religious group, whether a Muslim community-founded school or a Christian community-founded school, a school that is founded by the community, when people have the right to practice their faith, and you do anything that undermines that person, makes that person look inferior, it is against the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. So when you go further, we also say that we should enforce rules we should not enforce rules rooted in a specific religious doctrine against students who do not share that faith, as all such actions violate Article 12 of the 1992 Constitution, Article 17 of the 1992 Constitution, and Article 21(1)(c) of the Constitution of Ghana, which guarantees the protection of fundamental human rights and freedoms, non-discrimination, and freedom of religion of all persons. So we are, from this perspective, speaking out to say that, look, we all respect traditions and educational heritage. That is why the name of the school is Wesley. It's enough to show that there is a particular religious denomination which is contributing to the development of education in Ghana.
Right.
And for that matter, their name is on the school. But those days that they decide how much people should pay school fees, they decide who should take the monies, they decide where the money should be lodged in which account, it's gone. Times have changed. So the circumstances that we find ourselves in, we must abide by those conditions.
Right.
So we are saying that as a primary custodian of children's welfare, as a PTAs, we parents, we play an indispensable role in ensuring a safe and inclusive and constitutional compliant school environment. Under the Pre-Tertiary Education Act 2020, Act 1049, parents are recognized as essential stakeholders in educational governance, and their input is central in shaping school policies, monitoring disciplinary systems, and safeguarding students' rights. So, we as parents feel that if school management committees, the PTA school and then the boss, which are a vital mechanism for enhancing transparency, accountability, and respect for diversity within schools, if we want to allow these things to happen, there will be chaos in the schools. It is little things that gathers momentum and it creates issues within the school space. So these are issues that we don't think that we should even give it that space to be discussing it at this level. But you see, when an issue comes and we are discussing, we discuss it from the perspective of our egos, from perspective of our emotions.
Right.
We don't discuss it from the perspective of law.
Is that what you're seeing in this particular discussion?
That is the whole issue. Because I have seen, excuse my language, and pardon me, the extremism in the system. You have Christians who are extremists. You have Muslims who are extremists. And you have other religions who are extremists. If it's not our way, no any other person's way. But the schools are called public schools. And the public discourse, the public interest must guide these discussions. I have seen press statements from the Christian Council and the Catholic Bishops' Conference. But in all their press statements, they've not been able to quote any provisions of this constitution.
What would you say those press releases are rooted in?
They are just rooted in time-tested, long-value, cherished traditions. And I will keep on saying that for us, we will plead that traditions must therefore operate within the bounds of constitutional requirements and must not be used to justify discriminatory practices in state-founded schools. The schools are largely founded by the state. If I say the state, I'm not talking about government.
Talking about
the
you and I.
state incorporates the government. That's why the schools are called government-assisted. They are not fully government-sponsored. But government has a role it plays. Maybe government takes about 60-70% chunk of the investment. The parents, the old student bodies contribute about 20-30 to 40%, depending on the narrative. Then, other stakeholders, sometimes you are there, the church says, oh, our school, we are doing annual harvest, we want to go back and paint some of our buildings, or want to probably construct additional new classroom block or whatever not. So these are the realities of the times that we find ourselves in. And for me, as a Christian, I will not speak to these issues from the perspective that I'm a Christian or I believe in the Bible. In fact, the Bible preaches that we should create environments that foster peace and peaceful coexistence with other faiths.
Right.
And for that matter, that is why where we have gotten to as a country, we need to allow our egos, whether you are a Muslim, somebody mentioned, when I was coming, somebody wrote something about Tia Ahmadiyya. And speaking, I said, look, it's all wrong. If indeed those things are happening in those schools, I can't speak it out because I don't have any statement of fact to back it. It's somebody's opinion. They are wrong. If yesterday they were doing those things and nobody was speaking about it, and today people have seen that with the advent of social media and knowledge base has broadened and people have become wide awake of their rights and responsibilities.
Right.
We think that together as a country, we should be able to look at this issue. So yesterday, somebody sent a message that, the Minister of Education was speaking because he was a Muslim. I beg to differ. He's a minister of state. He swore by an oath called the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. This was what he said he would defend. Are you getting? So the issue that we are discussing within this perspective.
Right.
We have seen Muslims who have married Christians. We have seen Christians who have married Muslims, and they're able to live peaceful coexistence. So this is the level that we should be able to go. And we have professed some solutions that we think that we should look at these things and solve. When I get the opportunity, probably I'll speak to those issues.
We'll speak to that, but I want to pick Abel's thoughts. But as a constitutionalist, I don't think I have to think too far about where it is that you'll be coming from in this conversation. Have you monitored this discussion? It's been laced with, as Gabson says, maybe some ego, a lot of emotion, and it seems to be steeped in, what we call tradition. It's like we've always done it this way, so why should we rock the boat? But for those who say it's time for change, they say, well, other schools have been able to do this for many years, to have all the students coexist, whatever religious practice that it is that they indulge in. But with some particular schools, there seems to be that intolerance, in especially moving forward.
You see, this issue, this is whatever I'm going to say is not a position of my political party. Or when it comes to the issue of faith,
okay,
and when it's about the Constitution, I take an individual stance. That's my personal position, and it's not. I'm not representing any other person's position. I went to St. Augustine's College. So you listen to the name, St. Augustine's College. On campus, we had a place where Muslims were praying. Some of my mates, some of my friends were Muslims. So you see them, they go and pray. Those who go to Mass will go to Mass and all that. So I'm really shocked that this is an issue, honestly. Because I lived it on campus. You had a place, and if you go to Ogasco, it is there. You had a place of prayers. They go and pray there. Of course, we don't have mosque there, but they have a place they can pray. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? And I think we should replicate this across. I don't think it should be a problem.
Did it take anything away from the learning experience?
What was prevailing and what is prevailing in Ogasco has not changed the identity of the school. The school identity is intact, yet others have also had opportunity to practice their faith. I think it is something that has to be done across board. It shouldn't be a problem. You see, there has to be a place for them in the school. You see, there could be limits as to what you can do on campus in relative to the practicing of your faith. There could be limits, but to deny someone completely that will not be allowed to practice your faith here, for me, it shouldn't be tolerated. We don't have to encourage that. So I believe that just as I experienced it and I lived it, and I had most of my friends, they will go and come. When they are going, they will change into their whatever. And our time to, I went to Ogasco as a sixth former. I did my first degree, O-level at Ghana National College. Then did my sixth form at St. Augustine's College. National too, we had similar situation there. People were having time to pray. So I don't think it should be a problem. I don't see why this has generated the kind of controversy it has. But for me, there should be an agreement. If you do, there should be do's and don'ts. You can practice your religion, but you can't do, because there's an aspect of every religion that can be nuisance. Are you getting it? So where there's no intersection, or where, are you getting it? You can let those one pass. But for example,
there are no conflicts.
Yeah,
and related stuff.
So I really personally, I don't think it is something that should be handled the way it is being handled. The lawyers are going constitution. The school, the old students and other, and the churches are also going faith.
That's right. How do we meet in the middle?
There has to be a balance. And I'm saying that Ogasco is a typical example. I don't know of Infantipim, because Infantipim is also at a Methodist school. I don't know of Infantipim, but I can speak of Ogasco because my friends, because we will live together, we were in the same house, and they were Muslims. They would, Charlie, I'm going to pray and come.
Right.
Go and pray and come.
Interestingly, whilst this discussion has been going on, and I was monitoring on X, other persons would come and give an example. Somebody said, at Pope John's, we used to do it this way. We had that intersection, and it really took away nothing. And some people are actually quite surprised that in other schools, they didn't have that sort of religious harmony that didn't take away from the identity of the school, which I think is an important thing to mention.
Yeah, but you see, one thing we also need to watch. You see, that's why we are saying that we can give a limit as to how far one can go with a practice on campus. Imagine a traditionalist who feels that today I have to put on powder and go to class with it because that is how I practice my faith. Or on campus, I will put on powder. I will put, I will do some.
It's unacceptable.
Are you getting it? So that's what I'm saying.
Those are exceptions.
Yes.
And the Constitution provides clear rules for exceptions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that there has to be a limit.
Yes,
it's
there, Article 14(1)(e).
Yeah, so if you see, the point is that there has to be, in the school, there has to be.
No, there's a code of conduct for students.
Yeah, I mean,
that's all what he's speaking about.
I'm saying that.
It has been with us from.
Yeah. So the school itself has code of conduct. Okay, beyond the code of conduct, if you're also practicing your faith, you should know the extent you can go. Are you getting it?
Some discretion has to be put on all of us. Limits.
Yes, so that,
so nobody becomes an extremist.
You see, when it comes to religion, I don't have problem because I don't have problem with what you believe.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I don't have problem with what anyone believes in. It is personal decision, because we've been told that there will be consequences of what we do. So if you say, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian, I'm a traditionalist, I'm a Hindu, I'm a Buddhist, let's allow everybody to practice, because faith is different from what, we need to divorce faith from our daily lives or our relationships and our friendships, because it's a separate thing altogether. I don't have to hate you because of your faith.
Right.
Are you getting? You're a human being. I'm a human being. I need to love you because you're a human being. But when it comes to the issue of faith, it's a different ball game altogether. So you can be my best friend, but you don't practice the same faith. That shouldn't be a problem. Some of my friends, my best friends, are not Christians. I'm a Christian. And we get on well. If you go to Cape Coast, let me tell you, if you go to Cape Coast, when I was doing politics in those days, my stronghold was the Cape Coast Zongo. Kotakraba Zongo. That is where I had my support. If people who would do whatever to protect me or to support me were the Zongo guys. Are you getting it? And I still keep those friendships. I still keep those relationships. So I'm saying that, fine, Ogasco is a typical example. We did it there, and we coexisted peacefully on campus. And I think it should be possible for this to be done across board. And I don't think it should be a problem.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Gabson, I only have some 2 minutes to go. You say there are some recommendations that have been put forth. We'd like to hear it.
That's what we call call to action.
Okay.
We believe that to address these issues in the BAD, we propose the following. Review of school policies. We should not allow each school to have their own policies. There should be a unified policy for all public schools. Are you getting it? Where we do stakeholder engagement and together come out to see that whatever we are putting out there doesn't flout any provisions of this constitution. So we should review school policies. So we urge the Ministry of Education to lead the way in bringing all stakeholders together to do that. We also believe in training for school administrators, teachers, and other stakeholders. If all these people are trained, board members, PTA leaders, school management committees, they undergo continuous rigorous training on constitutional literacy. So people speak, they don't even know what is in the Constitution. And all they know is that it's their Bible, it's their Quran, or whatever has been passed on to them. This is our culture. They don't look whether what they were doing, whether it was at variance with the provision in the Constitution. You see, some of these schools were established when this Constitution had not even come into force.
That's right.
They were established when we were using the first Constitution or the second Constitution or maybe colonial era. So things have changed. Are you getting it? And every human being is a product of his environment.
Gabson, let me ask this question. I have mentioned Ogasco, for example.
Yeah.
And I want to know, you see, if, for example, in the Christian schools, it is allowed, but in other schools, like other faith schools, it's not allowed. That is where it's going to.
That's what I'm saying.
That's where it's going to.
We are speaking to this issue not only because the lens or the microscope is on Wesley Girls and Tema, because I've seen your colleague media with City, Omar Sanda. I've heard him speak. He has written a lot of things. I read. I said, no, these things are wrong. You understand?
So
we are saying that is why we are speaking for all. we are not speaking to exceptions.
Got it.
We are saying that these are no issues about Wesley Girls, St. Augustine's, blah, blah, blah. It's an issue about if we are discussing public schools, then there should be a policy that should be encompassing for all public schools.
All right.
Because
that is our stand on this.
Because, for example, my child, I can find myself in an area or in a community where my child can only go to a Muslim school,
Right,
or Islamic school.
Yes, and they also have to.
What kind of treatment is he going to be given in terms of?
They have to embrace the change. That's why we are saying that. I mentioned that somebody mentioned Tia Ahmadiyya, and I said, look, I don't have any facts to back it, but we are not speaking to Christian faith-based institutions
only.
We are speaking to any school that is established in the public interest. The public interest must guide the conduct. So we are saying that when these discussions are being done, it's important we acknowledge diversity, inclusion, discipline, and tolerance. If we're able to put these four things into the nomenclature of taking that decision, it will help us. Student engagement. The students themselves must be engaged to also see that they are part of the decision making. And then community engagement.
Right.
We also need to. And then the last one is enforcement and compliance. Sometimes we have a whole lot of laws. There's a policies lying down, but compliance and enforcement doesn't work. So if we do these things and before they give you the forward as a public servant, as the headmaster of a school or a teacher in the school, you read this and you sign that bond and you go contrary, you should crack the whip.
Certainly.
When we do that, things will be smooth and we'll have a very peaceful country. And we'll not spend quality time discussing this. We'll discuss other things that are in the school that is not making it easy for progress in terms of teaching and learning.
Certainly. Gentlemen, they say time flies when you're having fun. Thank you so much for your time and your expert perspectives this morning. Gabson Ebo, do have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful morning. Gabson, it's time for that heavy breakfast you mentioned. What is it? Fufu, banku, kenke? What's going on this morning?
We'll do that with you when we leave.
Certainly, time check. It is some 3 minutes until we have to step out of the studio, and we'll be getting into some quick messages and also your birthdays.